Great rise, beloveds. You know who this is. It's your girl, Queen Goddess, the King Advocate, and it is Melanated Monday. Please make sure you are here. Make sure you tag somebody to watch this video along with you. Make sure you have pen and pad to take notes. Make sure you go back to this video and forward it to others. If you can record it, please do that. Whatever you need to do to ensure that you get this video, that you get the information, that you are able to share it with others, please do so. Okay. I'm going to give you all a message. You all coming in, I appreciate that. Hopefully, we'll get a lot of people today. I prayed on that one today. Okay. I need you all to come on in. For those of you who are here or who will be coming in tonight, we will be discussing emotional and mental health, um, depression. We're going to be talking about some things that need to be discussed, what to look for, what to do about it, where it comes from, all these types of things. Please share this video right now. If you are here, which you are, because I see you, also make yourself known so I can greet you properly. I would appreciate that. But make sure you share this video with someone you know, love, care about, whatever, think they may be suffering in silence. Um, please share this video. Don't be afraid or ashamed to get this information out because it needs to be out. I have deliberately sent this video post rather to groups that I know would regularly not post it. And I'm grateful that a couple of them have agreed to post it in their groups because we need it. What's going on, Nate? Thank you, love, for being here. I appreciate you. You gonna find out what's going on shortly. So hopefully you will stay, participate, and bring some folks in with you. I don't even know what to say about him just yet. I don't know, but hopefully you will stay here. If you can, bring some folks in with you. We are dealing with the emotional and mental health this evening. Yeah, we love our people. We need some help though. That's for certain. So I'm gonna give folks a minute to get in here. I said, please make sure you have something where you can take notes. You want to take note. I'm gonna give you a lot of information. I'm gonna give you some phone numbers to call. Um, so please be here. Don't walk away. I'm gonna give people another minute or so. Am I super early? Let me see. No, I'm not. I'm gonna give people another minute or so to get in, and then we're just gonna go ahead and start. Okay, I see folks coming in. Who is that? Who's there? Whoever you are, I appreciate you. Okay, thank you so much um, for coming in. Like I said, I don't know who it is. Quan Horn, what's going on, loved one? I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Um, we're gonna get started in 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute. Those who are here will get it. Those who are not will have to get it when they get in. And if necessary, I will repeat. This is a very important, I don't want to call it a show. Um, it's important that you're here, okay, and that you share it with other people. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Um, as always, I always first meditate to see what it is the Most High wants me to bring to her people. And in paying attention to the message and in paying attention to the behaviors of us, um, the subject is our mental health, our emotional health, what is going on. A lot of things are happening to the mass of us, okay, not just a few of us. It is happening to a mass of us, which means it is something that must be addressed. There's a reason it's happening. There is a way to stop it from happening. There are signs for why it's happening. There are, it's a lot. Okay, so the first thing I want to just talk about, I want to give you information again, is to give you the definition of depression. What is that? A lot of people, see people as being depressed when they have a certain look upon their face. They look sad, or um, they just seem like everything is negative in their life, and it's so much more than that. Like we're missing it because we're focused on what appears to be surface level stuff, and we're missing it. And I'm really trying to tie this into last week's conversation as well, when we had our guest, Leon Walker, who is a narcissist, and talked about narcissism and those things to look for and the behaviors that come along with that. So this is going to also tie into that. So again, be sure that you share this video. So going back, depression, what is it? Depression is a mood disorder that causes persistent feelings of sadness and loss of interest. It is also referred to as major depressive disorder or clinical depression. I know you all have heard that term before, clinical depression. What's going on, beautiful Carla? I appreciate you, loved one, for being here. Please share this video. Please share. Again, depression is a mood disorder that causes persistent feelings of sadness and loss of interest. It is also referred to as depressive disorder, major depressive disorder, or clinical depression. The signs, and these are just some, these are not necessarily all, but some of the signs for depression when you're dealing with mood. A person will appear to be extremely anxious. They're showing signs of anxiety, very discontent. So they're generally just unhappy. Like there's nothing that will make them happy. They're unhappy about everything. There are feelings of guilt, and it may not have anything to do with them specifically, but they feel guilty. They feel hopeless no matter what they do, or there's no one there for them. They feel like they're alone. There's a complete loss of interest, or pleasure in anything, in any activity. That includes things that they used to do. They no longer find any interest in it, no pleasure in it. They may have mood swings and apathy. Now, apathy is when a person, they show absolutely no concern whatsoever. They don't care if somebody is dying in front of them. They don't care if they won the lottery. There's nothing. It's whatever. Literally, they don't care. There's no concern whatsoever. In their behavior, they may seem extremely agitated, or they're very easily agitated. They may cry a lot. It'll be crying. They'll seem extremely irritable. It may seem for no reason at all, or little things make them very irritable. There's restlessness. There might be a lot of fidgeting going on. A person that um, is doing one thing, and then they split off and go do 50 other things, and they never come back to the one thing that they're doing. They're constantly moving. And I want to bring attention to that real quick, because we have been told that that type of diagnosis is referred to ADD or ADDHD. There's some type of hyperactivity disorder, which is why I'm making it very clear that a lot of the things that we have been taught, or that we are used to seeing, that have been diagnosed as one particular thing, may not be that at all. So you have many people who are being misdiagnosed based off of minimal symptoms, or minimal understanding of what the symptoms are. Great rise, T Harp. Thank you, loved one, for being here. I appreciate you. So again, there's restlessness, and there would be social isolation, people that want to just stay by themselves all the time. You have people who are just naturally introverts. These are people who are naturally by themselves. They're good. That doesn't always mean that they're depressed. It's a personality. They are introverts. They much rather just be by themselves. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert. You wouldn't know it. I have a very rare personality type. I'm an introvert. I'd rather be by myself. I'm good by myself, but I'm great with people, so it doesn't mean that I'm depressed. Okay. So just keep that in mind. As far as their sleeping activities, a lot of times people who suffer with depression, they'll get up really early in the morning. They're just up. They're not necessarily doing something. They don't necessarily have to do anything. They're just up really early in the morning. Um, or they have excessive sleepiness. They're always sleepy, or they have insomnia where they're sleepy, but they can't sleep. There's restlessness in their sleeping behavior. So they may toss and turn a lot. They may get up and, go get water, go get food, whatever. They're just not, there's no peace in their rest. There's no rest in their sleeping at all. Um, they're in their body. You have to pay attention to that as well. In their body, they may be excessively hungry all the time. You can feed them a 9-course meal, and once they've belched, they want to eat again. It's an excessive hunger. They're always eating something. That could be a snack, it can be a whole meal, whatever it is. They're always eating something. There is fatigue. Their body is tired. There's a lack of energy. They may have a lack of appetite. They may not want to eat at all. And there is pain. Like they always complain about pain in their body, but there's no reason for it. Like there's an unprovoked pain. So they may complain their leg hurts, or their elbow hurts, or their toe is throbbing, whatever, but nothing has obviously caused the pain, but it's all the time that they're experiencing it. That is a physical sign of depression. As far as their cognitive behaviors, there's a lack of concentration. They're not able to stay focused. Again, that would be a symptom that would be misdiagnosed also as being ADDHD. Having an attention deficit disorder is not necessarily just that. Okay, so they may have a problem with concentrating, or they may move very slowly in their activity. So let's say if they're going to their car, they're going to the grocery store, whatever they're doing, they're really slow at it, or they're washing dishes and it's like, folding clothes. It take 20 minutes to fold up a sock, something like that. That is also a sign of depression. Their weight may go up and down a lot. They may gain weight. They may lose weight, but there's going to be some drastic change in their weight. Some other things you want to look for, and this one right here is major. At least as far as I'm concerned, it's major. Excuse me. There is a repetition in their thought. So if they keep thinking about something that happened, or it may not have even happened, but they keep replaying it, they keep going over, they keep having the same thought about something. It can be anything. Okay. It can also be suicidal. They can have continuous thoughts of suicide. It doesn't have to be that. But if they're continuously thinking about the same thing over and over and over again, it's like they're overthinking, they're over processing. That's a sign. Or if they become extremely clingy, you'll find this in children. You'll find where children become extremely clingy, that may be a sign of depression. So you want to watch that. Again, there are unexplained physical issues. They don't know why their face is breaking out. They don't know why they're itching all the time. They don't know why their hair is falling out. Whatever it is, there's no medically explained or medical explained reason for why these things are happening, but they're happening. Nothing they have done unusual is causing it. They're not necessarily allergic to anything, but they're having an allergic reaction. These are signs of depression. Also, the more obvious ones would be drug and alcohol use, and I would say abuse. So people will, sometimes take, medications for headaches, something small or whatever. They may have a glass of wine, drink a beer, whatever. That's not necessarily the abuse. When it becomes abusive, you know what abuse looks like. Okay. So if they are abusing drugs and alcohol, you want to pay attention to that. If they are causing harm to themselves, we have people that cut themselves. We have people who set themselves on fire. We have people who will slam their body parts into brick walls. Whatever it is, they are very reckless when it comes to themselves. They have um, no thought of self-care or preservation. There's this whatever. If I burn myself while I'm flipping this match and I blow up, then oh well. If I crash into the 99 cars because I'm going 1,000 miles per hour backwards on the freeway at high noon, oh well, whatever. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but these are some things that you want to look for. Um, Also, they may have memory difficulties. Okay, let me be clear, because you have memory difficulties does not necessarily mean that you are depressed. Some people have memory issues because of poor diet. They got a lot going on. They may have some other diagnosis. So it doesn't just mean that, but that is one of these signs of depression. And also, if they have personality changes or swings, you want to watch that. That would be the Dr. Jekyll, with the Mr. Jekyll, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Whatever it is, that kind of thing. They're good people one moment, and then the next is like, what the, who are you type of thing. It's very drastic. It's very obvious that something has changed or that you are speaking to a different person. Okay. It seems as though you are communicating with somebody else. And it could happen within the conversation. It can happen later on. It can happen in a different day. It doesn't matter. There is a drastic change in in their personality. Okay, I will go back over all of that later. I want to move on. If you all have any questions, please post them. You can also call in. I will open the phone lines now if you want to call in 770-906-5271, 770-906-5271. I want to touch on the types of depression as well. And there are so many. So all of them, I'm not going to go into great detail about, but I want to make them known. Okay. We just talked about clinical depression, which is also called major depressive disorder. Um, they say when a person shows 5 or more signs of what they determine, how they determine a person to be clinically depressed. If there are 5 of those symptoms, 5 or more, then they are automatically diagnosed as being clinically depressed. In clinical depression, there is a chemical change. Okay, so that means there's something going on with the neurotransmitters in their brain. The electrical firings of signals are not getting where they need to go, or they're not being interpreted correctly. The information they need to receive is either not being received or not being received properly. Therefore, it's going out incorrectly and causing different types of responses, different behaviors, inappropriate responses and behaviors because of the misfiring. We'll say it that way. That's the easiest way I can put it. And then there's the melancholy. This is still part of clinical depression, melancholy. So people who have clinical depression often suffer from, they call it melancholy depression. And this usually happens in the morning. So it's like they wake up and they're extremely sad. When they wake up, they're already done. Okay. When that happens, I don't want to confuse you, but there's more that goes on with a person who is experiencing melancholic, I think is how it's pronounced, depression. Um, they may be referred to having to take medication for that. And I'm going to talk about that medication as well. Okay, I see you all here. G Walker, what's going on, loved one? Quan, Anthony, what's going on? I appreciate you. Did somebody else come here that I did not address? And I got everybody. The next is called persistent depressive disorder. This type of depression lasts for 2 years or more. Um, it is a combination of two conditions known as dysthymia, 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 which is a low grade persistent um, depression along with the chronic major depression. So you have two different types of depression, which cause the persistent depression. Some of the signs in that, as a person will have a change again in their appetite. They may sleep way too much. They may be fatigued. They're extremely tired. They have a lack of energy, very low self esteem. They may have trouble concentrating and trouble making decisions. Okay. They may have trouble making decisions. They feel hopeless. And this type of depression requires psychotherapy. It may also require medication. So the two of those would be necessary if a person is suffering from persistent depressive disorder. Again, I will address the medication. Okay. The third we know about, we hear it a lot. The third type of depression, bipolar disorder, is a type of depression. It is also referred to as manic depression. And if you all, I want you to pay attention, because as times have gone on, names of things have changed, but it's the same thing that they were years ago, decades ago, centuries ago. Okay. The name has just changed. The symptoms are the same. So manic depression has been around for a long time. Before this bipolar thing came up, we knew about manic depressive. We already had information about manic depressive. Um, these people who suffer from bipolar or manic depression often have extreme mood changes. They have extreme mood swings. Like I said, they'll be happy one moment, the next minute they try to cut your head off, literally. They might be ready to fight somebody, the next minute they want to have sex. It's extreme. Um, when they are in the low phase of this type of depression, the symptom they will show symptoms of major depression. So when they're at their lowest as a bipolar or as a manic depressive, they will show the symptoms of a major depressive. That's the clinical depressive. They'll show those symptoms. Okay. The third type is seasonal. It's called seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, SAD, seasonal affective disorder. This happens a lot with people. It might be during holidays, during the winter time or whatever, where they're really by themselves, they're really secluded. That usually passes when the season passes, or when that holiday or whatever goes away. They're usually okay. A lot of people are that way when they are separated from their families. If it's just them, they may go into that type of depression. seasonal affective disorder. They got a disorder for every damn thing, I swear. The fourth is called psychotic depression. Psychotic depression, they have the symptoms of major depression, which is the clinical, and psychotic depression. So again, there's two types in a psychotic depressive. They may experience paranoia. They may also become very violent because of those things. And a person who is suffering with that, they are usually put on antidepressants and antipsychotic meds. Again, we're going to talk about these meds. Okay, am I going into detail of the medicines? I am not, but we're going to talk about them generally speaking because you need to know. Okay. The next type is postpartum and peripartum. So we know what postpartum is. Postpartum only happens with women after they've had a baby. The peripartum happens to the men after the woman has a baby. So the men also experience a type of depression after their woman has given birth. We think that's funny. We think it's cute. It ain't. Okay. It's clearly a real thing. They get depressed as well. This one, ladies, this is strictly you, us premenstrual dysphoric. Okay. I laugh, but it ain't funny because y'all know some of us, once we get into that mood, once that time of the month come around, we that tends to go away after the 28th day. Okay, just saying, but it's called premenstrual dysphoric disorder. The next is referred to as a situational depression. It's not really a clinical term, but the situational depression would be something is happening right now, or there was a loss, somebody passed away, or there was a breakup, something that just happens for the moment. It's not a long-term type thing, but it is based on a situation. If you're forced to move, if you change a job, or you had to, leave your family, go to a different state or country, whatever, situational, that changes. The next is called atypical. Atypical is considered to be a specifier that describes a pattern of depressive symptoms. So it describes how a person behaves. It describes the symptoms that they have. I swear, I'm telling you, it's something for everything. They got a disease, a disorder, a dysfunction, or whatever for everything. Okay, it's crazy. The thing with an atypical depression is that it can change. Like something positive happens, a happy event happens, it's over with. The depression gone. It takes a positive event to change that whole thing around. So the next is called treatment resistance depression. What that is when people have gone through treatments for depression, whatever type they have, happens because they have been misdiagnosed. When you're dealing with a person who has depression, you have to know what type of depression you're dealing with, because you can be treating them for something they don't have just because there might be one or two symptoms that are similar. If they're being treated for a different type of depression, then they are suffering from treatment resistant depression. Nothing they try works because they're not being treated correctly. Okay, so know that. And this one right here, this is the 10th and final type that I'm dealing with today, because I want to get into a little bit deeper. This one is male depression. Clearly, there is a difference between female depression and male depression, as there's a difference between how females handle emotional stress and or trauma versus how males handle emotional stress and or trauma. Male depression is considered to be a very serious medical condition. Male depression is considered a very serious medical condition. I see I froze over here for a moment. It is very often misdiagnosed, underdiagnosed, ignored, laughed at, forgotten about, whatever the case is. Um, that will also include, and I made sure I made that note because we talked about it last week. We were talking about narcissism. Narcissism can and may also fall in the category of male depression. That does not mean that women don't suffer from narcissism. That's not what I'm saying. But when we're dealing with a male who is considered to be narcissistic, it may just be narcissism may just be a symptom of male depression because men handle stress and trauma differently. Okay. Again, they are very often misdiagnosed or underdiagnosed. Some of those symptoms include headaches. They'll have ongoing headaches. They may have digestive issues, digestive problems, unexplained pain. We talked about that earlier. They have pain. They don't know where it's coming from. They don't know why they have it. They didn't do anything to themselves. Nobody did anything to them that should cause it, but they have pain, and it's usually an ongoing type thing. Alcohol and drug use. That can be a cause and an effect. They may become very controlling. They may be violent. They may be abusive. Abusive, not just physically. They may be verbally abusive. They may be financially abusive, emotionally abusive. Whatever it is, abuse is abuse. They are extremely irritable. They may be inappropriately angry. So a lot of times when a male, since that's what we're talking about, is angry, they may express that anger on or to the wrong person. They may lash out on whoever's in their face because they're pissed off at something that happened that didn't have nothing to do with the person who they're lashing out on. Okay, so it's an inappropriate anger. Or they just get angry. You could be saying something to them and they get angry. And it's like, why are you mad at that? Like that shouldn't have made you mad, but it did. So if that happens, you don't necessarily want to be combative. You don't want to be confrontive, but take note. Okay. They have risky behavior. That goes back again with those people who have no apathy. That was in the clinical, right? There's no apathy, there's no concern. So for you or themselves, there's risky behavior. They don't care what happens. They're gonna jump off this cliff knowing ain't nothing down there to catch them. They just want to see if they can fly. Okay, you know what I'm saying? They'll do stuff that we will consider just dumb, stupid, whatever is risky behavior. Or road rage, for instance. People driving stupid, driving in the same lane as you, next to you. You know what I'm saying? Why? You want to race this truck that's in front of us, behind us, next to us. Why are you doing that? That type of thing, that type of behavior is risky behavior. It's reckless. They are very reckless. They don't have any thought of self-preservation. Again, same symptom as clinical. No thought whatsoever of saving themselves. They are also very reluctant to discuss the symptoms that they do have. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to talk to a parent, a friend, a therapist, nothing. They don't want to talk about it. They don't really want to acknowledge that is even happening. And because they don't acknowledge it, it becomes a bigger problem. You all have heard me say many times that one of the steps to healing is to speak. You have to talk about what's going on in your head? What are you experiencing? You have to speak these things out loud. This is part of the healing process. It must be done. You can't keep it in your head. You can't act like what's going on up there is not really happening. You can't brush it under the rug. You can't say, well, I'm going to deal with it later, because most people don't. They don't deal with it later. Something else becomes or something else gets put on top of it. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and they get deeper and deeper and deeper into a hole. They get deeper into a psychological or emotional or spiritual mess. There's no way of it, to a point where there may be no way of getting them out. And sometimes people can get so deep into their own darkness that there is no way out. We don't see a way out. We don't know a way out. They may not even want to come out because they've made that hole comfortable. They've put furniture in it. They have a refrigerator. They've put lights on in the darkness. Whatever it is, they have gotten used to that space. And once they've gotten used to that space, it's their space. Getting them out of that, very difficult. I won't say impossible, but it's very difficult. And you're going to be working with that for many years. Okay. What else was I saying? Oh, also, they may have they may be resistant to any type of mental health treatment. They don't want to see nobody about nothing. They're not talking about nothing. They may have other disorders. They may have other traumas. Whatever they got going on, they ain't not telling you. They're not telling nobody. Okay. Again, they're gonna act like it's not there. They're gonna act like they got it, they cool. And you'll hear that a lot, particularly from men. You will hear, I'm cool, I'm good, I'm all right. You're not. When you hear that a lot, please know, don't brush it off. Don't say, okay, well, whatever. You don't want to talk about it. Don't get mad. Take it into bigger than you. These are symptoms of depression. They don't want to talk about it. They don't know how to talk about it. They don't want to acknowledge that something to even talk about. Okay, but it's there. This is part of the problem. A lot of times we as women, as emotional as we are, as the nurturers, and I'm speaking for myself even, as the nurturers, we want to fix things. We want to fix everybody. We want to be the everything to everybody. And that's not necessarily reasonable, right? We can only do and be what we can do and be. We're not necessarily the fixers, nor are we called to do so. We are able to provide platforms and tools to give to them, but they have to be ready, willing, and able to accept them and utilize them for themselves in order to get into a healed, or at least a healing status. We can't fix them. And I have to emphasize that we can't fix them. Why can't we fix them? Because only they clearly know what is broken. We can't fix what we don't know is broken, and only they know that. Whether they express that or not, only they know what is broken. You can be there while they're trying to put the pieces together. You can offer your support. You can still love them. You can do all that you can do. But the moment you try to fix the problem, you then become a problem. You add on to the problem. Why? Because now you have also put your emotional problem into their problem. How you feel about what they're showing you, because you don't know how you feel about what they're showing you affects them. It's adding to the problem. I am guilty as hell. I'm guilty. I've had to check myself numerous times. And I don't mean a long time ago. I mean recently. Okay. I'm not ashamed to be transparent. But once I overstood what was happening, once I understood what was going on, it's like, okay, self check. You, Queen Goddess, the King Advocate. You are the ARC. You are the accountability relationship counselor. You are these things, but you are not God. You might be a goddess, but you are not the most high. Okay? So stay in your lane. Just stay in your lane. That's all I'm saying. Some of the methods that men will use are coping methods, and we heard this term last week. It's called escapism. Escapism is a way to get out of having to confront something, having to deal with it, having to manage it, having to acknowledge it. I'm gonna find a way to get the hell out of here. Okay, avoidance. It's a way to not have to deal with, not have to be accountable for or responsible for a an outcome. So they'll find a way to escape the whole situation. For instance, one of the one of the red flag sayings to a man from a woman, we need to talk. Okay, ladies, you know, as soon as you say these words out your mouth, you already know he ain't coming over. Uh-uh. Nah, y'all ain't finna talk. Not today. Uh-uh. He's not getting ready to have this conversation with you. Oh no, he's already preparing his mind. Oh damn. Something else got to come up. Like, how can I avoid this? What else can I do? I'm gonna buy her some flowers. I'm gonna take her out. We're gonna do blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna get her mind off of it. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. They're gonna find a way to not discuss whatever it is that you want to discuss. It's escapism. They're getting away from that. They know that you finna say something for real. You about to hand them their ass, maybe. You about to give them some real truth, and they ain't ready. They're not ready to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to feel some type of way about what you say, because probably what you're going to say is a fact. It's a truth. They don't want to feel what that truth is, because why? Truth hurts. They don't want to feel it. And again, y'all know I'm not knocking my brothers. I'm not knocking men. This is just the facts of the matter. This is what's happening. Again, we're still talking about depression. These are just coping methods. Okay. The another coping method, obviously, and the most fatal is suicide. Are those the only? No. But men who contemplate suicide, and especially if they do it continuously, men are more likely to complete the task if they have thought about it more than once. If they are thinking about suicide, if this is a continuous thought, remember we talked about having these repeated thoughts. Okay, if they're having these repeated thoughts of suicide, they are more likely to complete it. Women, on the other hand, will attempt suicide, where men will complete it, and they will make sure that it's done because they will use the means to make sure death is the outcome. So, where you may have a woman who will do something, she may, and I don't want to be putting this out here, I'm not giving no ideas, okay? But women may do it in a more subtle type way. They may take something, um, whatever, we'll leave it at that. They may take something. A man is going to find something that is without a doubt going to fix this problem. He's going to do it. If your man, your friend, your brother, your uncle, cousin, nephew, somebody, co-worker, whatever, has said these words to you, has ever brought up the word suicide, take heed. Take heed. We have, as women, we have done them a disservice by assuming and expecting them to be emotionally, mentally strong and enduring. Well, you a man, you supposed to take that. You supposed to be able to do blah, 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 blah. They are human beings. They are spirit beings first. Okay. But when dealing with trauma, when dealing with emotional issues, they are not as strong as the woman in handling these types of issues. They're just not. And that's not a blow to him. They're just not built that way. They don't know how to healthily, actively, effectively handle and heal the trauma that they've experienced. They don't have that. They have to learn that. They have to seek counsel. They have to go through therapy. They have to have someone there that's going to be supportive and patient, non-judgmental. They have to have that. We've put a lot on them. We've put a lot of expectation on them that is not reasonable. He can't take it. That does not make him weak. So please stop saying that to these brothers. What's going on, Sister Felicia? Thank you, loved one. I appreciate you for being here. Please stop telling these brothers they're weak. Please stop telling them they ain't shit. Please stop doing that. Please stop saying I don't need you. Cut it out. You don't know how that is affecting their mental space, how they're processing that, what's really going on up here, because they may not outwardly show that. What we do, how we show how we feel, is not how they show how they feel, what they're experiencing. They don't do the same thing that we do. They don't behave the same way that we do. But they have the same types of feelings. They experience the same type of issue, the same types of trauma. They experience them. But society has said, you're not, especially to Black men, so-called Black men, they're not allowed to express these things. They're not allowed to acknowledge that these things has happened. Society says that is not acceptable. You cannot be mentally, emotionally, or spiritually messed up. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to say you need some help. You're not allowed. Who are you? No. You're just going to have to bite that. You're going to have to act like it didn't happen. You're going to have to push through. You're going to have to be supportive. You're going to have to make love to me every night. You're going to have to bring that money in. You're going to have to blah, 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 blah. You're going to have to all of these things. How are they going to be able to do all of these things if they don't have the tools to do these things? Tamika, what's going on, loved one? I appreciate you for being here. So again, some of the coping methods with men, and then you want to know, this is something else you have to know. Men do not always, they have less warning signs. They show less of what's going on with them. Like I just said, you don't always know because they don't always show. They won't always tell, but you have to be in tuned with, you have to pay attention to, you have to get some over understanding of the symptoms, what to look for. Pay attention. People have asked me, how do you know this? How do you know what to do? How do you know blah, 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 blah? Intuitively, downloads, paying attention. You don't have to have degrees, to do all these things. You have to pay attention. What's going on, James Rowland? Thank you, love, for being here. I appreciate you. You have to be able to pay attention. You have to be willing to pay attention. You have to be patient in your paying attention. You have to be empathetic. Okay, we expect so much out of our men, but we're sometimes not giving them enough. We want what we want, and we want what we want when we want it. And you're going to have to figure out a way to make sure I get that no matter what. Because if you don't, then I'm out. I'm gonna find another dude that's gonna do what you don't do. Come on, cut it out. Cut it out. We give up on ours so fast, and that's on both ways, men to women, women to men. We give up on each other so fast, and we are collectively ill. We are collectively suffering in silence. We're showing by our behavior that there's something wrong, but we're not talking about it. And because we're not talking about it, because society says you shouldn't, we're missing information. We're suffering because we're not having the conversations about what's going on. We won't acknowledge something's not right with me, bro. I'm not feeling this. Something ain't right. I feel out of balance. I keep having these thoughts. I'm creating these scenarios. I'm having hallucinations. I'm paranoid. I'm anxious. I can't sleep. I'm overeating. Whatever. We're not talking about it. Men are really not talking about it. So it's important that we pay attention. Okay. Some of the risk factors, personality traits. A person, and we're still talking about men, so we're still talking about male depression. So a man who has low self-esteem or one who is very pessimistic, that means he is negative about everything. You can't find nothing positive about nothing. Everything is negative. You gonna wear those shoes? Those shoes are sharp. Nah, see, if you wear those shoes, and you probably gonna slip down this black ice, even though it ain't black ice right now, but you probably gonna slip and you're gonna break your ankle. Oh, well, I'm gonna wear this jacket. Well, you probably shouldn't wear that jacket because if you go to such and such neighborhood, somebody gonna rob you because the jacket, you know what I'm saying, is always something negative. That's a pessimist. Always something negative. Or they may be extremely codependent. They can't do nothing without somebody else. Nothing. Okay. If you don't do this for me or with me, it ain't going to get done because I can't. If they are extremely codependent, or if you walk away from me, then I'm just going to die, or I'm going to take these pills, or I'm going to, whatever. If somebody else is not doing something for them, they're going to do something on an extreme. If you don't call me, then I'm going to go sleep with 99 girls who got HIV. That was extreme, right? But that's where it goes. It goes to something ridiculous. I didn't call you, so that's what you do? Really? Check your call log though, because I did. And I left you a voicemail. You didn't check that. So you did all of that shiggity for what? You know what I'm saying? But that's what happens. So there's an extreme codependency. If they have experienced trauma, again, men do not normally express the trauma that they've been through. And I'm talking about if there's been any type of abuse, if there has been sexual abuse. Women, please, please. And I've seen women laugh about it or make jokes, and it's so not funny. It's so not funny. Men who experience sexual trauma, be it from a parent, a babysitter, a teacher, a whatever, they carry these things with them. It's traumatic. I dated somebody who was raped by a woman and ended up having a child. He was traumatized by that. Every relationship he was in, he carried that. These things happen. Men do get raped. They get raped by men and women. It happens at any age. Be they 5, be they 15, be they 25, be they 55. It doesn't matter. It happens. If they weren't willing to do it, they were put in a situation where it was forced upon them, where they couldn't fight back, whatever. It's trauma to them. Or if something was done to them and they were told, you better not tell, that's trauma to them. You don't understand how they process that, what they do with that information, how that affects how they look at that gender of people. Or the opposite, you don't know how that affects them. But if they have that type of trauma, they are They need to be under some watch. I'll just put it that way. They need to be under watch. That is a risk factor. Um, they may have inherited traits. They may have inherited depressive traits. So it's been said that depression can be passed down through the generations. I'm going to say this: if it can be passed down through the generations, it means this is a generational curse. This is a generational curse. It is being passed down. They are living, they are experiencing, or maybe re experiencing something, re experiencing a trauma that they personally never experienced because it's being passed down. The trauma, the energy of it, the karma of it all is being passed down. They are constantly reliving it because it's being passed down. I know a lot of people don't understand that. They think is far-fetched, don't believe in karma, don't believe in generational curses, whatever. No matter what you think or believe or be live, don't understand, it is what it is. It don't stop the truth from being the truth. It happens. Another risk factor, and this was, I kind of knew it, but I had to get proof of it. Sexuality. And by sexuality, I mean preferences, behaviors, responses, thoughts of their own body, dysphorias, whatever, just how they see themselves or how they interact sexually with other people. That's a risk factor. That also deals with their self-esteem. There's a lot that goes into that. This is not just I'm choosing to do this. Not necessarily. It could be because of this type of depression. The depression has put them in this state. And if you think, and I'm going to say what I know, okay, even based off of clientele or other people that I have seen who have expressed their own trauma, a lot of these men who are dealing with or battling sexuality or sexual identity or whatever, they have been sexually traumatized, which is why they are whatever they are or have chosen to do at the time. They have been sexually traumatized and are now using that is now a type of escapism. That is a type of escapism. Because I was molested by this man, my escapism to deal with it is I'm going to choose to be with a man, but I'm going to be the top man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going into all the detail, but this is a way of dealing. This is a way of coping with. Instead of me being the victim, I'm going to go now victimize. What you did to me and I couldn't do nothing about, I'm going to go do this to somebody else on your behalf. I'm going to take my power back. Now, this individual didn't necessarily do nothing to me, but they're available. So I'm going to do it to them because of you, because I didn't heal, because you made me a victim. You didn't give me an opportunity to decide. You didn't give me the right to choose. You made me do something that I didn't want to do. So now, in order for me to at least situationally feel better, I'm going to go do this to somebody else. This is how the patterns keep repeating. When a person deals with trauma, particularly a male, when a male experiences trauma that is not handled properly, that has not healed, he will, not may, he will relive that trauma again, but he now will be the aggressor. And it doesn't have to be abusive, physically fighting or whatever, but he's going to be on the other end. He's going to do it, particularly if he does not get help. If he doesn't get help, he will relive that trauma continuously. Other factors or risk factors are if they already have other mental health disorders, again, including narcissism, bipolar, um, whatever. If they already have something else going on, that's another risk factor for depression. Also, again, the drug and alcohol abuse, chronic illness. If a man is suffering from any type of chronic illness, let's say like cancer, anything that may be considered life threatening, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, but if he's dealing with that, that is also a risk factor of him falling into male depression. If he is on medication, now let's talk about this medication. You all know whenever a person is suffering from anything and they take medication, there is always a side effect. Always a side effect. You can actually overdose on medications, and I don't mean that you knocked out and you ain't feeling good and you vomited, but you can overdose on medications because it's constantly something that's causing something else, that's causing something else, that's causing something else. This will put your mind, your brain, all of these things into a complete imbalance, and that will cause you to be in depression because the medication is literally causing an imbalance in the brain. It's causing it's all over the place. So these medications are not, in my opinion, I'm just going to say that, in my opinion, something that needs to be given for a person who is dealing or experiencing depression. This is my opinion. I am not a doctor, okay? But in my opinion, because we're going to deal with it spiritually, medication keeps a person in some form of psychosis. It keeps a person in some state of dependency. It does not allow them to heal from the cause of the condition. It puts them in a frame of numbness where I don't feel it anymore, so I'm good. So even though I'm not feeling it anymore, I'm taking this medication and it's causing something else to happen. Well, let me take the medication so this don't happen no more. So, but this is happening. The side effect is happening, but because the side effect is happening, I'm no longer focusing on the problem. You keep getting side effects. So the medication, to me, my personal opinion, is not what needs to be happening, especially when you are dealing with mental issues, when you are dealing with emotional issues and you're dealing with them on a mass level. It says to me that this is a spiritual doing. This is spiritual. There is a spiritual attack happening. There is a spiritual infliction happening, and it needs to be dealt with from a spiritual standpoint. These things that we're dealing with now, these are not new. None of them. If you go back and read, and I'm not going to make this a church session, but if you go back and read Deuteronomy 28, read all of it. This is where it discusses what will happen if you obey the Most High. If you do what you're supposed to, if you live right, if you live righteously, this is what will happen. These are the rewards that will happen as a people if you live according to spiritual law. If you don't, this is what will happen to a people if you don't live according to spiritual law. And all of these things, according to the mind, the madness of the mind, the things that are happening to our bodies, the confusion, the blindness, the diseases of old are coming back. These things are happening because of spiritual disobedience. And I know folks are finna get off of here now. These things are happening because of spiritual disobedience. It's written for a mass of people to suffer the same type of thing, and there's no direct connection to them. It is something bigger than us. It's something bigger than what is written in a medical book. It's something bigger than a science experiment. It's spiritual. We were warned about this. I'm going to put you in a state of confusion. I'm going to make you mad in your mind. I'm going to make you sick in your mind. I'm going to cause you to have this confusion and wandering. I'm going to cause these things to happen. Why? Because come on. Why? You forsook me. This is what has happened. So what we need to be doing, and we need to be doing it right now, is not trying to find a medication to fix these mental illnesses, not just throwing people into therapy so the therapist can give them medications or plans of action, not just that in order to fix these people. We need to humble ourselves, change our minds, ask the Most High for forgiveness, grace, and mercy, and give us another opportunity to get it right. Remove the demons, because that's what it is. These are spiritual demons that have occupied the mind of those who are suffering. This is an illness, it's an infliction, period. It's an infliction that is happening to our people because of the disobedience. Plain and simple. I'm going to open the phone lines. I'm going to go back in here and read the comments. If you want to call in, 770-906-5271. 770-906-5271. Let me see. Say, hey, what's going on, G? You say, hey, Hebrew Highness. I appreciate that. Uh-oh. Like, I see you have a comment here, but it keeps going back. You might have to call G and tell me what you wrote, because it's like it's playing game. It won't let me just open it. Okay, there we go. You say, why do some of these people, namely girls, want to call a guy weak just because he's expressing his feelings concerning what's bothering him? Because they weak. The woman, not him. A lot of times when a woman says that a man, okay, let me go back. Sometimes she weak, okay? When a woman or female, I do that, sees a man as being weak in expressing his feelings, one, because it's not normal to her. It's not something, again, like I said, it's not acceptable. This is not a normal behavior. She has been taught and or shown throughout her history, throughout her relationships or relationships that she's seen, if a man does that, that he's to be considered weak. So it's not necessarily her fault. It's how she's been raised, what she's grown up to see, what she's grown up to know, right? If her parents and their parents and their parents and society and whatever says that if a man does this, then this is what he is. See, we've allowed society to dictate and classify what a man is according to what they want us to see, how they want us in particular to treat our men. So because of that, there is a complete disconnect to what the truth is. Okay, G Walker, go ahead. What's going on, love?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm okay. I just want to make a quick comment.
Okay.
You're absolutely right, and I know you're not a minister and all these other things, but you said keyword. This thing is spiritual. People don't want to deal with it. They might run away, whatever, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, that's what you're gonna have to deal with. If the root of the problem is spiritual, then guess what the answer is?
God.
Thank you. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Yes, indeed.
Okay, you know, but let me say this. It doesn't. A male is born. He then and a female is born. Okay. They just say all things considered. They both normal. They come out. They full, right? 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, so on and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're full. A man, especially a melanated man, but man, period. And when I say man, first of all, I'm going to talk about 2 things real quick. First, when I say man, I'm talking about mankind. Second thing, along with that, is the man that, how should I say? I say melanated man, period. Specifically, more specifically. But this heinous evil society has thwarted his ability to express himself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like remember, I said the full. See, God deals in fullness.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 ears, whatever. God is more than just the stagnation of man. He's not stagnated by man, prejudice, bias, or whatever case might be. So a man who, and this is what I'm saying in short, a man who is not able to, is only able to express his anger. Is more than one. That's more than one emotion out there. More so than anger or stagnant. Now his ignorance or his dumbness, that's on him.
Right.
Because the library is free. But what I'm talking about is being able to express himself out of more than just being his anger or his inability to express. What I'm talking about is his ability to express those thoughts that might concern him. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm hurting. Hey, I'm this and that, blah, blah, blah. It's only certain people that you need to find someone. Sometimes, a lot of times, the stranger that you can talk to, more so than the people that you know.
Right.
You know, to just be able to confer or concur or express yourself. I've dealt with a lot of veterans who I just sat there and listened throughout the years. You know, they just needed somebody to listen to.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, even if it was for that moment.
Right.
You don't know that next moment can Columbine anyone.
Right.
That's all I can say about it.
Right.
But you're not a full person. I don't give 2 cents whether it's one person, whether it was a group of people, whether you got your friends. If you're not able to express yourself, then you're a stagnated person. What I mean by that, and it's not your fault. A lot of people's fault. You're stagnated because a lot of people are afraid to even talk about the things that bother them. It doesn't necessarily bother them, even the good things, because they're afraid of what somebody else might think. But they're the same person that you sit up here trying to worry about what they think and what they say about what you're saying got problems too.
Right. Yes.
Everybody ain't got problems. but you got to know how to be able to, even if it's the ultimate thing is, I like to say, I don't want to get into the, I am, because it is spiritual. You need to talk to God. That's what you need to talk to. If you can't find nobody to talk to and express yourself to, just talk.
Right.
Everybody got to get out the house. I need to talk to God.
Right.
Or I need to go somewhere where I need to go where I can just be God and me, and I can just talk without nobody, without no prejudice, and get it all out of me. That's what you need to do. That's what a lot of guys from back in the day. Now these ones just you can see. Now I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna let you go. What's happening is with a lot of these guys that's going on, they don't have no God. And these younger guys, and what's going on today, you got to remember the devil came to steal, kill, and destroy. Mm-hmm. He's on a killing spree. He's after the kids. He's after the children. People don't realize that. What's happening is they don't have, besides not having the moral factor, the ethical factor in their life, not having the value system imparted in them by their parents, unfortunately, they systematically, they're a breeding ground for the devil.
Absolutely.
Because they put up no fuss for him. They put up no fight towards him because they haven't, a lot of them haven't been taught. Some of them do know better. Yeah. But they're easy targets, so they go out and that's why they just, like that lady today who was, the elderly lady who was just killed, man.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That just comes from lawlessness.
Well, it's about to be on the rise. Especially next month, it's about to be on the rise.
Yeah, I don't want to be nowhere with God's spirit. We talked about this before.
Right.
The spirit is not. But the thing about it is, a lot of times, people, not just males, but like I said, mankind, but it's specifically melanated males, they need that outlet to. It's more than just one emotion out there. There's joyous emotions, there's juvenile emotions, there just emotions of concern, being able to just talk about what's going on inside. Now I grant you, and this is no negative thing towards a woman. You can't talk to a young lady about everything, even your wife or significant other, whatever case might be. There's certain things that you can't talk to her about, and it's not, and vice versa. And it's not that they don't understand. It's like you need someone of same likeness sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Huh?
I said I agree with that.
Yeah. It's not. It's no ploy. There's nothing against it, but dang, maybe everybody's so touchy and so feely about what? You don't even know what you're touchy and feely about.
Yeah.
You're following along with your scene master. Your scene master is European.
Right. Well, that's a whole other story. Let's not go there.
But
right.
Anyway, I just want to tell you that. Say that that's what the problem is, because you can't go around. No one can go around and it's nice to be able to have. Everybody doesn't have that either, but like I said, God is always there.
Absolutely.
You can sit there and talk, and don't think He don't hear, because He does.
Right.
You can sit there and talk in the room by yourself.
Right.
And have a talk. Then where the son go, have a little talk with Jesus.
Yes.
And express all of it and get it out you.
Right.
Don't let this world. This is what I'm trying to say. Don't let this world of these prejudice and bias and evil people stagnate you from being the full, coming out to your fullness and being able to not be stagnated by the evil society and its woes.
Right. I appreciate you, G.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, honey. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was kiss my angel. Thank you.
Thank you, darling.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So I want to, if somebody can type this up for me, I would appreciate it. I want to put up the suicide prevention information, the phone number. It is 800-273-8255. The suicide prevention number is 800-273-8255. You can also go to the site and do a live chat with them if you like, which is suicidepreventionlifeline.org/chat. So suicidepreventionlifeline.org/chat if you want to talk with someone directly. And also remember, I am a counselor. Okay. Relationship counselor, nonetheless, relationship with self counts. Okay. Reach out to someone. You all got the information last week from Leon Walker, who we had narcissistically speaking, but he also counsels. He's a mentor. He does those things as well. But reach out to someone, okay? If you are or you know someone who needs some type of therapy, counseling, they just need to talk, they need to vent or whatever, and they want to do it with a human being, please make sure they do so. See somebody and recognize the signs of depression. Pay attention. Be more empathetic. Be more patient. Be more open, non-judging. Just watch. Watch and be there. Pray for these people, okay? Because they are inflicted. Pray for them out loud, if you will. Pray for them, by yourself, with them. Like I like to go to the water. That's where I do a lot of my meditations, in the water, at the water. I will literally get in the river. Literally, I'm standing and walking in the river. Literally, get somewhere and do something, okay? But don't just sit there and watch our people diminish. This is a spiritual attack. It is a spiritual attack. And the only way that it can be reversed in masses is if we humble ourselves. Yes, we must bring ourselves low to the Most High and change our mindset. Be less carnal and more spiritual. You cannot handle the things of this world by yourself, nor are we supposed to. We are spiritual beings, and we have to first conduct ourselves accordingly. Conduct ourselves as spirit beings. That means call upon spirit to guide us through this carnality. I said what I said. All right. Please make sure you share this video. Share it. Please, I'm going to be watching to see who will actually do so. Somebody needs this information. So make sure that you are the one they got it from. All right. I love you on purpose, with purpose. My life matters. If you want a shirt, I got them. Just let me know. I'll give them to you. I love you on purpose, with purpose. Until I see you again. Peace.